a man by the name of Weldon Mark Gilbert, and he is a suspect in a child rape case. He was actually tried by a federal court back in 2007, and he pleaded guilty to child rape in 2009, and he was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Now he's being tried again by the state of Washington, and he is not hiring a lawyer to defend him. He is defending himself. However, the fact that he's defending himself means that he can do something that is unbelievable while he's behind bars. We have an Associated Press report on this. I want you guys to watch. It has more details, and then we'll discuss it.
Mark Gilbert, a convicted felon, is doing something in jail that makes the prosecutor want changes made to state law. He's viewing child pornography in jail as he awaits his trial on child sex charges. Gilbert is allowed to watch it because he's acting as his own attorney.
We don't like it, we don't want to do it, but we have to follow the law. So the fix here is to change the law.
Gilbert is accused of luring more than a dozen boys to his home and then sexually assaulting them before he was arrested in 2007. The evidence includes more than 100 videos authorities say were seized from his home, including some they say he shot himself. As his own attorney, Gilbert is entitled to review any and all of that evidence.
I don't like it, but it is not my choice whether to do it or not to do it. There's no question that I don't like it. There's no question that this makes me grind my teeth.
2 years ago, Gilbert was sentenced to 25 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to child pornography charges in federal court. But the state's charges against him of child sex crimes are still pending.
We want to facilitate this, even though we don't like it and don't think it's a good idea.
So he can just sit there and watch pornography all day?
Yes, sir.
Local reporters say when Gilbert views the videotapes, he is with an investigator in a room that's visible to guards at the jail. They say the material would normally be contraband there, but restricting Gilbert's access to the material could result in a mistrial. Carlotta Bradley, The Associated Press.
So this is an extremely complicated case because the law is the law, and he is serving as his own attorney, and he's able to view this so-called, this evidence as much as he wants. But even though this is the law, is there any way that there can be an exception? That's what I'm wondering. I mean, obviously, here's a case of a man who pleaded guilty to child rape, to child pornography, to being an extreme pedophile, and he's able to view this material while he's behind bars. Isn't there any way? I mean, it's almost as if people have given up on this, and they're like, yeah, well, he's his own attorney. He can do this as much as he wants, and that's just the law. How can we, is there anything we can do to change this? That's my question about it.
Well, as difficult as it is to say, should we change it? I mean, these are the things that really challenge us and our commitment to justice. I mean, if you start to think about what the exception ought to be, what should it be? How do we base it? Yes, he said he was guilty of this horrible, repulsive acts, but then he withdrew his guilty plea. So the law has to treat him as innocent. And he has the right to defend himself because the law gives him that right. And as his own attorney, he has the right to review the evidence. That's when we really are put to the test of what do we believe in. I am just as tempted as anybody else to talk about how disgusting that is, and it is disgusting, but what would the exception be? That you don't let suspected child molesters defend themselves? Well, why should some suspected child molesters are probably innocent, so they should have the rights everyone else has. So I don't see any way to do anything but the most painful thing possible, which is to defend the people that disgust us the most, because that's when we're really tested. You have a better idea? Because I'm open.
I don't have a better idea. That's why I'm stumped on this case. Usually when I read a story and when I delve into the details, I have a very clear-cut answer. And, ultimately, I agree with what you're saying because in the United States, our justice system does allow people to defend themselves, and this is the way he chooses to defend himself. It's just so clear that he's guilty, especially since he pleaded guilty, and then after he faced a life sentence through the state courts, he's like, oh, all of a sudden I'm going to withdraw and say I'm not guilty. And just to know that he's behind bars and he's watching videos where he is having sex with young boys and abusing them, hitting them to the point where they blister up.
Well,
It's just,
yeah.
it's a very difficult case, and you're right, it does put us to the test, because are we going to defend our justice system in this case? I think our justice system definitely has its weaknesses, and this is a perfect example of that.